Hi, my name is Tomash, and in this project, I addressed a contemporary business challenge faced by many small businesses, which is improving sales performance across a local coffee shop chain with 3 Sydney locations. To address this issue of inconsistent daily sales, I created a realistic proxy dataset that simulates 6 months of store level operations, modeling customer demand by time of day, day of week, location, product preference, and pricing. Since real sales data isn't publicly available for small coffee shops, I built this dataset to model their typical business operations to reflect realistic patterns such as morning rushes, weekend peaks, variation by product category, and occasional promotional discounts. This gave me a practical foundation to apply business analytics and economic frameworks. Through this analysis, I identified when and where demand peaks and how staffing, inventory, and pricing strategies can be aligned to maximize revenue. These insights can help local managers make better data driven decisions to improve consistency and overall performance across stores. This slide applies the supply and demand framework alongside sales trend analysis to tackle inconsistent sales performance across our 3 Sydney coffee stores. From the bar chart, we can evidently see that the city store dominates morning demand, averaging over 2,000 transactions per month, reflecting routine-driven, price-inelastic demand. Therefore, we should concentrate staffing and stock in the city between 7 and 11 a.m. In contrast, midday demand is stronger in suburban stores, likely due to local lunch patterns. This suggests an opportunity to trial midday deals and adjust rosters accordingly to this pattern. Evening demand is consistently low across all stores, indicating an oversupply risk. In response, we should consider reducing hours or applying end-of-day clearance deals to minimize waste and improve sales performance. To illustrate how price influences quantity sold, I modeled a supply and demand curve for muffins, which revealed an equilibrium point of $2.85. This helps us guide smarter pricing during off-peak periods like evenings, where sales are low, to reduce waste while maintaining profitability across stores. This slide uses the consumer and producer choice framework to align supply with actual customer behavior across product types and times. Using 6 months of sales data, we found that 62% of all transactions happen in the morning, with lattes and espressos making up nearly 60% of total product sales, reflected by the longer data bars on the pivot table. Therefore, producers should prioritize stocking espresso and latte products across all stores during morning hours to effectively meet this high demand. The pivot table with conditional formatting highlights this visually. Green cells and longer data bars represent strong product time combination like morning lattes, while red highlights low performing areas such as tea and muffins in the evening, helping us spot inefficiencies, as well as the orange and yellow cells on the pivot table, like muffins at midday, pointing to moderate opportunities where we could introduce targeted promotions for lower performing products. The column chart validates this shift in consumer preference from functional caffeine in the morning to indulgent snacks in the afternoon. These insights support time-based product bundles like coffee and croissant in the morning and tea and muffin in the afternoon, helping improve sales consistency through smarter demand-aligned supply decisions. Here I used a pivot table with summary statistics and conditional formatting to reveal price sensitivity across different product time combinations. The analyst shows discounting occurs throughout the day but is highest in the afternoon and evening, especially for muffins and croissants, where markdowns reach up to 16%, highlighted in green. This reflects efforts to avoid excess inventory during off-peak times, signaling strong price elasticity. These findings reinforce our earlier recommendation to maintain premium pricing during peak periods such as morning muffins, where discounts still reach 14%, and instead focus on strategic bundles like tea and muffin deals in the afternoon and evenings during off-peak times to lift sales and avoid unnecessary markdowns. These insights help us more effectively fine-tune our strategy to preserve margins in peak periods and target promotions where discounting is proven to lift sales. This slide explains how demand shifts across the week. The pivot table and bar chart highlight weekend peaks and weekday evening lows. The data highlighted in green shows that weekends outperform weekdays, with Sunday alone generating over 7,400 transactions across all stores over 6 months, which is the highest of the week. This breaks down to approximately 1,240 transactions per month, divided across 3 stores and 4 Sundays per month. This equals 103 transactions per store each Sunday, a realistic figure for busy cafes during peak weekend periods. This peak is driven largely by morning and midday demand, especially in suburban stores where customers are more active outside of work hours. In contrast, the data flagged red in the pivot shows that Friday evenings have the lowest sales, with 277 transactions across all periods over this 6-month course. This points to potential overstaffing. These insights accentuate that we can improve sales performance across all our locations by prioritizing staffing and stock for peak periods, especially weekend mornings where sales are the highest, and scaling back operations during low demand times such as Friday evenings. This slide combines core insights from demand and pricing to identify where revenue is gained and lost across our 3 store locations. The column chart displays that mornings are the biggest revenue driver, with the city store alone bringing in $43,000, supporting our earlier recommendation to focus staffing, stock and service speed during the morning rush. Evenings drive the least revenue, contributing just $3,580 in the city and even less in suburban stores, highlighted in red, suggesting potential oversupply. This presents an opportunity to reduce hours or trial clearance pricing on these low-performing evenings, with resources shifted to weekends instead to capture increased traffic. Suburban afternoon revenue is also weaker, reinforcing the case for targeted promotions like tea and muffin bundles during off-peak times from 2 to 4 p.m. Promotions should be tailored by location, with morning combos in the city and midday offers in suburban stores. Therefore, aligning operations with these revenue patterns improves efficiency, reduces waste, and boosts overall profitability. This project has developed my set of Microsoft Excel skills that are highly valuable to businesses. I used Excel-based analytics tools like pivot tables, summary statistics, conditional formatting, and dynamic charts to extract practical insights. To an employer, this means I can independently analyze real operational data and present results that drive performance improvements. I've demonstrated commercial thinking by linking analysis to business goals such as improving off-peak sales and allocating staff effectively. This shows I understand how data connects to profitability. My ability to communicate insights visually and support decisions with evidence helps teams move faster and make informed choices, skills essential in customer-facing and operational roles. Finally, by identifying inefficiencies and proposing pricing and promotional changes, I've shown strong problem-solving and initiative traits employers value in team members who can contribute beyond their job description.